The young chick fixated on him was a fledgling condor, a majestic New World vulture known for its preference for windy habitats where it can effortlessly soar. Edgardo recognized the rarity of this sighting and cautiously kept his distance. Yet, when the bird began to cry out, he couldn't resist investigating further. Approaching the young condor cautiously as it struggled to move due to an injury, Edgardo saw it falter and collapse. Gently placing a hand on its back, he hoped to earn its trust so he could assess its condition. Little did he anticipate what would unfold next. Immediately, Edgardo searched online for a reputable specialist in raptors. Unlike those who might see such a creature as a prized possession, Edgardo's mission was clear: to rehabilitate wildlife like Condorito so they could thrive independently in their natural habitat. He never intended to domesticate her, understanding the importance of preserving their wild instincts. Learning the intricacies of caring for a condor, Edgardo discovered their reliance on scavenging for large carrion, despite not possessing the sharp talons of other predatory birds. He also understood the lingering wariness these birds held towards humans, shaped by centuries of persecution. Naming her Condorito, Edgardo pledged to nurture and protect her. Though unafraid, he recognized the gravity of the responsibility he had undertaken. Edgardo made regular trips to the butcher, collecting scraps and leftover carcasses 3 times a week. Concerned for her safety among the cattle in the barn, he set up a nest for her in his shed. He hoped she would settle and heal, and indeed she did, but his heart sank a month later when he returned from the ranch to find her gone. He feared he had lost her forever. But some animals never forget, much like elephants. On a scorching day, Edgardo chose to walk home from the ranch. The sun beat down, yet it invigorated him after tough days nursing sick cows through pneumonia. Suddenly, a shadow loomed overhead. Was it dusk already? His friend's horrified shout snapped him from his thoughts as a massive figure circled them. His friend bolted towards the house. "What is that?" Edgardo panted, dust swirling around their footsteps. Then, with a thud, a dark silhouette landed ahead, its wingspan spanning 10 feet. Edgardo froze, his friend falling back in fear. What creature was this? What did it want? Then it charged towards Edgardo, his friend's screams ringing out as the animal leaped into his arms. It was Condorito. Recognition dawned as he held her, studying her eyes before she nestled against his chest. She had returned, but she had grown immense. Her feathers had turned obsidian, yet her head remained bald. She seemed more prehistoric than avian. Why had she come back? Condorito wasn't known for befriending humans. Unfortunately, many hunters proudly display these giant birds of prey as trophies. Their usual habitat makes them a rare sight, only straying when food is scarce. Clearly, Condorito had been hungry. She explored her old home while Edgardo's friend hurried to fetch raw steak they had set aside for dinner. After a long journey from the mountains, she was undoubtedly famished. That T-bone would be a treat. As his friend closed the fridge, Edgardo's shout echoed through the house. When he rushed back, both Edgardo and Condorito had vanished. He grabbed his phone and dashed off. Where had they gone? Was Edgardo in danger? How could they defend themselves against a creature notorious for its hostility toward humans? Against the giant bird, they stood no chance. Then he heard the cows stirring. Sprinting towards the barn, there he found Edgardo, seated in the dust beside Condorito near the cattle shed. She nudged him gently, seeking a comforting touch under the blazing sun. Her wingspan dwarfed his height, but while his friend trembled with fear, Edgardo remained composed. He understood she had returned merely to check in. But that wasn't the end of the story. Some praised his bravery in interacting with the typically aggressive bird, recounting their own hair-raising encounters in the wild. Others criticized him, accusing him of domesticating the bird for personal pleasure. Edgardo, however, had his perspective. He revealed how profoundly moved he had been by the experience. From the outset, his goal had been to reintegrate Condorito into her natural habitat. When the young chick vanished overnight, he had never anticipated her return. Her display of gratitude was unprecedented in the realm of wild condors, yet similar bonds had been documented with other animals before. He recounted the story of John Randall and Aceberg, who had raised a lion cub named Christian in their London flat in the late 60s. Forced to release the lion into the wild as it grew, they were astonished when, upon their return to Kenya a year later, Christian instantly recognized them. Could birds, then, be any different? Initially thinking Condorito's visit was a singular event, Edgardo soon discovered she continued to visit regularly, seeking affection and treats. He considered himself fortunate to have formed such a profound connection with a wild creature, anticipating many more years of friendship ahead. Yet he wondered how he would react when she returned with a family of her own.